Talk Puck with ESPN analyst and host of the Coyotes podcast on Go PHNX, former NHL coach Steve Peters. Coach Petey now talking puck on Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, Yotes open up a 7-game homestand tonight. Yes, 7 games. Seattle Kraken is in town in Tempe as the Yotes had their 2-game winning streak snapped when they fell to Dallas just 2 nights ago, 5-2. They sit 20 points out in the final wildcard spot with 13 to go. So mathematically, Steve Peters, they're still got a chance. They still got a chance this weekend.
Does Drake still have a chance from yesterday? Or no, they're done? Yeah, it's the same.
No,
it's the same.
Point.
It's the same. No chance.
No chance at all.
No chance. Good grief, no. They've been done since about the 5th of January. And here's the hard part. The hard part is there's hockey games left. The good news is playoffs are right around the corner, and it's March Madness. Other than that, that's about it for the Yotes.
I know, and I was just telling Manooch during the break. I said I'm going to my first game this year next week against Nashville.
Nice.
I haven't gone this year because it's just no interest, but my buddy asked me to go 3 months ago, and I committed. You know, I can't get out of it unless maybe jury duty or something comes up again.
Oh, don't say that again, Ron.
I heard we were talking a big talk on jury duty earlier that I'm sorry I missed. And it has to be more exciting. And I hate to do this to Coyote fans, and because I know they're out there. This is just hard. There's 13 games. They don't matter. I went to the practice this morning, the morning skate before the game tonight against Seattle, and there's no storylines to follow. There's nothing to ask the coach. The only question is, when are they building the arena? Are they going to get a new building? And really, that's it. And it's hard to say that, but this is a team that was in a playoff spot until the first week of January, and they literally collapsed since then. Now they're fighting for 4th from the bottom and trying to get a better draft pick. It's just amazing how quickly this season turned for this team.
Coach, in football, towards the tail end of the fourth quarter of the season, they try to get guys in to get reps to try to save their job or try to get some tape, so to speak. Does that apply the same here?
It's interesting. I think you're going to see guys coming in from Tucson. I think you're going to get a look. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get to see the NHL debut of Josh Doan, Shane Doan's son. I would think he would get a shot in the lineup over the next 13 games. A kid named John Leonard is playing right now, getting a look for this Coyotes team. He played a couple games in the NHL for San Jose, so you will see a little bit of that. I think they're more looking for getting the ice time for their younger players like Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, the 19-year-old kids that are going to be the future of this team. I think you're going to see a lot more of those players getting some of the big minutes on the power play. I think you're going to see more minutes out of them on the offensive 5-on-5 opportunities, just to see what the ceiling is and what possibly the bar might be on some of these young guys.
Steve, will General Manager Bill Armstrong maybe dictate that to Bear? Will that come from on top to sprinkle some of those guys in, or will his mantra be Bear wants to do it his way to close the season out? Which way are they going to lean with this?
I think they're going to let kids play. And when we talked to Coach Tournier this morning, one of the things we asked him about was the goaltending, and he just said, we're going to alternate goalies the rest of the season, which tells me, okay, they're beyond, hey, who's ever playing better is who we're going with. No, we're just going to alternate. So I think you're going to see a lot of people getting an opportunity to play right now, because you're right. It's not just those young kids that need to learn. They don't have any defensemen signed for next season, like none. There's 0 defensemen signed for the team. And so there's an audition for both the restricted free agents and the unrestricted free agents. The guys need to perform over the next few weeks if they want to have a job somewhere. And, when you're fighting for jobs, you might be able to play a little better. Maybe they'll surprise a few teams and get a few points. Unfortunately, now it's about draft picks and losing.
Your co-host there at PHNX, Craig Morgan, released on Twitter some of the renderings that were leaked for the new arena. And the thing that just stood out to me right away is I was trying to figure out, because we live next door to each other, and I'm trying to figure out what road that was. Is how close is it to our house, But the real big thing that I saw was it said Phoenix on it, not Arizona. Is that something that...
I don't know if that was part of the negotiations when this team originally went to Glendale, that going from the Phoenix Coyotes, then they had to alternate and go to the Arizona Coyotes. I don't know that to be a fact right now. I don't know if that's intentional on the rendering to start to tease what's coming for the future.
Yeah,
it might be, but it's definitely in the long term. I mean, this arena and the renderings are fantastic, but you guys have seen that. You've seen it in every building that's ever been built, every mall that's ever been built. It never looks like they're talking about. It's great. I'm excited, but buy the land first, and then we'll go from there.
Well, it looks like with those renderings, it's one of those situations. It looks like it's a combination of retail, office, maybe hotel. It could really because I've seen a gazillion renderings before, but I thought it was interesting. Yeah, the arena plus the facility that was attached to it, that was the length. So I'm just curious to see what that's all about. But are they going to be the developer / owner as well, or they're going to bring somebody in, do you think, there, Steve?
Yeah, it's hard because this, with the Morello Group, they do run casinos, and this isn't their first time doing things like this. So I would be very surprised if someone else came in and took over this. But when you look at that space underneath, it's kind of like a mix of, I don't know if you've been to Kansas City and the Power and Light District where they show games on the big screen there, and a cross between that and Fremont Street where you have stuff showing on the ceiling. It's going to be like, they've got a grand vision for this. They really do. And I'm excited to see if they can fulfill it and bring it to fruition here, because it's going to be amazing. The problem is, and we've seen it for so many years, is it's a long way to go. And I know we're waiting for this auction to get announced sometime. We were hoping today. It's not going to be today, but we're hoping for an auction in June. They buy the land, they build the building, but we've been here. Like, we've been here before. So I'm going into this very cautiously over the next few months.
Steve Peters joining us here on Rock and Manucci with Jimmy B out here at Wright Toyota. It just seemed like a lot of big office buildings really were part of that. And I just thought I was looking for more open areas, more areas, to your point, where you see in Kansas City or in Philadelphia what they have right between the two arenas there in the stadium. But I don't know, Steve.
We'll see.
It just, even if it gets the auction, is still what, 3 years before the puck would drop?
We're hearing 27, 28. So the completion of these 13 here at Mullet Arena, and then 3 more complete season at Mullet, and then 27, 28 to open the new building. That's long way.
And Steve, if they get the winning bid or they win it, they better put a shovel in the ground by, at least I would think, January, February of 2025, if they want to meet that. They may have a maybe 1 year holdover at the Mullet for a lease to that point, but they better, as I like to get on the Bigfoot if they're going to make this thing happen.
You know what the bigger issue is here, and I agree. I agree with that. They need to start shoveling, like, right now. I know Rock and I could probably walk down there and help out clear some of that. I know Rock would in his free time. But, you're actually a NIMBY now. Are you a NIMBY? Not my backyard guy? We'll see. I talked to a lot of my neighbors, and they are.
Wait. What does that mean?
NIMBY?
What?
NIMBY? A NIMBY, not in my backyard.
What does that mean? What are you referring that to?
The people that are going to be, like, the people in Tempe that didn't want that building, they were a NIMBY, not in my backyard. You can build a building somewhere, but not in my backyard.
Oh, okay.
So this is, like, we are in that sphere. We're in the NIMBY sphere where it can be, you can build it, but not here, because it's going to affect me and my traffic. Anyway, I'm not worried about that. Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about players like Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller, who's played his entire career here in Arizona. He's 25 years old, and if you tell him this summer, Clayton, we love you here, you're a leading scorer over the last several seasons, and by the way, you're going to play in a college rink for the next 3 seasons until you're 28. I'm not so sure how that's going to sit with these guys. And I know the younger players really don't have a choice in your entry-level deal. You really can't dictate those kind of moves. I'm worried about some of the guys that are veteran players that are going to come to management and go, okay, I was a good soldier. I was here. I did what you asked me to. This is too long. You got to give me a chance to play. So that's what I'm most concerned about with some of their star marquee players. All
right, Steve, last one. Since you were talking about backyards and things like that, something I have to report to you as you're part of our HOA. The neighbor cut his palm tree. Okay, you know where my trash cans are, right?
I do.
So one of the huge branches is now in my yard. Should I just pull it back over?
Yeah.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? Because I don't know the guy. You know I don't know that guy on the corner. And
the guy
you probably
on
don't
that
either.
Corner?
Yeah.
What's the HOA protocol on that?
So what do I do? Because I have to wait a whole month for the bulb. And, that's where my dog's on the side. There's no room for him to kind of hang out. It's just an issue.
The good news for you, Rock, is bulk trash pickup is actually this Sunday. So that's the good
news.
What?
Oh,
yeah, it's
nice.
Sunday.
We're back, Rock.
There you go. Google it. It's Sunday.
Sure about that? Because they just came by like a month or 2 weeks ago.
Who do you think knows?
Okay, so I'm allowed to have the bulk out Sunday?
You can put it out today. It's allowed to be out a week before.
Nice.
I literally have the rules on my fridge, because when you're doing things, it depends on who your neighbor is. Like, I would scout that, and you've seen the guy. Like, buddy.
No, dude, I have.
You don't?
I have.
Do not throw it back into his yard. Just some advice.
Dude, it's like 10 feet long, this branch.
I don't care.
And it's
man.
one that, it's like, it's got the little pointy things,
No, I'd cut it up myself and put it in my garbage.
Those
over
are
the
called
next
the
6 weeks
thorns.
before
Thorns, yes.
Thorns, Rocky.
That guy's a big dude.
All right,
I
so
think
I
you can
will
handle
take
yourself.
your
He's not the
advice.
guy.
I will take your advice.
Hey, Mrs. Kravitz, sue me. Mr. Kravitz knows.
Yeah.
He's got it down.
Let's go, Caitlin Clark.
Coach, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Coach P.
I'll talk to you soon.
Who's actually the trench? Oh, good stuff. Hey, it's brought to you today by All City Towing. Look for a career that pays great with incredible benefits. Then All City Towing is where you need to go. Go to allcitytowing.com, search careers, All City Towing, statewide service, and they answer your call 24/7.
So the best part about that is I have Steve up on Zoom, so I can see him on his camera, and you should have seen his face when he was like, "Rock, you do not want to throw that branch back
Really?
over." He's shaking his head. He's like, "Nope, you don't want any part of that." The facial expressions are great.
Yesterday, it's there, and I'm
Sure.
like, that's BS.
Pick your trash up.
If the landscaper or whoever did it
Sure.
could have came over and just cleaned up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's like when people clean their hedges in the backside. Okay, if it falls in your yard, have the courtesy. If there's no fence there, obviously, pick it up.